So here we have the Bandai Tamashii Nations 15th anniversary exclusive of Super Saiyan Goku. This is another release of Awakening Goku, but with a different paint deco, and it comes with this very cool sleeve here. Here's the front side of the sleeve showing the Tamashii Nations 15th anniversary world tour. Here is the other side of that box with the figure shown. On this side, we get the figure again with the backdrop aura, and then on the other side we get a nice image of the figure once again right there. Again, this is a sleeve, so it just slides right off like that. Now you can see the figure. So I like the sleeve, pretty cool, and I wish they would do that more often with these event exclusives. But we all know that Tamashii is doing their world tour for 2023 right now, and luckily they only did one exclusive this time around for the world tour. I think they've recently been doing like 3 or 4 at a time, and it's been pretty exhausting on my wallet. So I'm glad they just went with one, and it's Awakening Goku. You know, this is the first figure that introduced the 2.0 tech for the body molds when they upgraded, and finally we get a chance of getting him again, this time with a more battle damaged paint deco, and I dig that because it was always battle damaged, but he didn't have any scratches or bruises on him, but this one does. But you can see he comes in this inverted black and yellow box. Here's this side, here's the back side right here, showing the figure, and yeah, if you guys were looking for this guy, Big Bad Toy Store did put him up for a little bit. They might restock him, they might not. I'll put the link down below anyways. Just keep an eye on it, bookmark it just in case, because they tend to get more stock out of nowhere, so check them out. But I do got to give a shout out to the Geek Effect for getting me this copy that you're seeing right here. But let's go ahead and crack this guy open and check him out. So first things first, he comes with the aura effect that we've seen before plenty of times. It's had its own release, and it's compact in with a lot of these Dragon Ball Z exclusives before, and they went with the older one, the 1.0 I guess you could say, because they did make a 2.0, a newer version with the most recent Goku exclusive, the Super Saiyan 2 release. So very interesting that they chose to go with the old one rather than the new one that looks better. So I don't know, but anyways, here he is with it, just showing the aura right off the bat. And then looking at the figure, he looks pretty darn good. So you can see already the paint deco showing the scratches, the marks all over the body, more so on the torso. I don't see any on the knees. I think there should be some there on his back as well, but it's only on the torso and on his face. You can see a little bit there on his face plate there. They went with the translucent head sculpt or hair sculpt with some gold paint on it, and I don't like translucentness, but the gold paint covers it enough to where you don't see it translucent at all, unless when you go to swap out the face plates, then you see the translucent plastic they use. It's just a clear plastic, and then you can see the paint over it. So at least the paint does cover it, so it's cool. It's gold hair. And again, as I mentioned before in previous reviews, I always like the classic flat colors for these figures, but it's cool for me whenever an exclusive, you know, of a figure that's been released already comes with the gold hair, because it's different. It's a paint, you know, it's a paint deco difference, and we don't need the same figure twice. So at least it's different enough, and I'm okay with it having gold metallic hair if it's an exclusive of a figure that we've never gotten before. So I'm totally cool with it, and it does look pretty badass if you ask me. Very, very nice. So he does come with other face plates as well. We get the yelling head, and we get this face here with his teeth showing, and you can see the scratches are on the face as well, right there on the right cheek. We get his fist on the figure itself, as you can see, a pair of fists there. We do get some open hands as well, so you guys can put him in some key blasting poses. We have our grappling hands right there. Then we have our martial arts posing hands, and then lastly but not least, we do get these open hands right here. Alright, so here's a closer look at the details real quick before we get to the articulation. Again, we've seen the figure before, but we really want to focus on the new added paint deco. So you can see there, pretty clean, pretty cool. I remember when this figure first came out in the original release, how amazing it was to get a battle damaged Goku just as it is. I think this was the very first battle damaged Goku, and it was the 2.0 body. It was a whole new body mold with a whole new look. It was just amazing. I still remember that. Here's the backside. And even to this day, years later, this figure still slaps. It's aged very well over time, and this release is a good opportunity for those new collectors that got into the line after that first release was long gone. This one Although it's different, it's still very, very good. I'm really digging the orange, how it has the little yellow or orangey yellow on the edges there of the ribs. Very nice effect for the paint there. Very, very cool. The only gripe I've noticed on this one right here is that I really hate and dislike whenever that metal pin shows. All these figures have like a metal pin inside the arm, but it's supposed to be tucked in the bicep, and I pushed it very, very hard and it doesn't go any further. So if anything, I really hate that that's exposed. You can see it a little bit on this side, but not as much. So definitely not something we see too often, so that's good. But when I do, it really does bug me. So I'm gonna have to like pose him in a way where I don't see that. But other than that, man, pretty damn good. Alright, so for the interest of time, I won't run through the articulation because this is such an older release. So it is the exact same figure as its original release. So I'm sure a lot of you guys already know what to expect out of this guy. And he has everything that you would expect out of any SH Figuarts. So it is the 2.0 growing area that we all fell in love with. And this figure doesn't have a upper thigh swivel. What they did with this one was that they gave it to like the middle thigh or the lower thigh here, right underneath the cut of the pants. So the leg does swivel, but it's like within the pant right there, which is pretty cool. This side too. So yeah, that's the only really difference there when it comes to just other figures from the line. But overall, it is exactly the same as that original release. So speaking of that release, let's get him in here and check him out. And there is the original release that came out 8 years ago. Would you believe it? 2015 was when this figure released. And that is how old it is. It's pretty nuts how time flies. It doesn't seem like it's been that long ago, but it has aged very well over the 8 years. I mean, this is pretty cool. Now, this figure has the flat yellow with the airbrush of the orange on there, which I love so much. This is the type of colors I like on my Dragon Ball Z figures. So this is what I was trying to refer to earlier when I said, you know, I don't really dig the metallic gold colors, but I don't mind it when it's on a figure that's been released before properly with the colors that I do like. So as you see, this is very cool. And what this figure had 8 years ago was airbrushing or shadows on the muscles there. As you can see, very nice details for the body. It had flat orange for the pants, so not as detailed as this one over here, which I do like the variations of colors and the you know, the gradientness and the transition between the yellow and the orange there. And then he had no scratches on the body. So there's pros and cons to both of these figures, really, and it comes down to preference if you really want to choose one over the other one. I can see that this one doesn't expose that metal pin as much. It's still there, but not as much as this release over here. This one you can kind of see a little bit more, but this one definitely is a lot more exposed than the original one that I have. I'm sure that is based off the figure, so if I have another one, I can look at it and see if it's widespread or if it's just this particular release or this particular figure that I have in hand. And there's a full body shot of them two side by side. Tamashii loves to change the colors of the orange gi and the boots and the blue and all that, so I'm fine with all that. Now, my figure over here actually has a very loose head for some reason. I think it has to do with me popping it on and off constantly for some reason. I think at the time this was such a new, awesome, revolutionary body that I was head swapping all the old Gokus and every Goku that came after on this body to get a battle damaged Goku with any head sculpt that I could find. And over time, it wore off the ball peg. So if anything, I should probably replace the ball peg, and maybe that'll solve it. But it's very loose on there, and it you know, it pops off really easy. And I think it just has to do with me wearing it out over time with all the constant head swaps with other figures. But yeah, other than that, everything's great on this figure. It's still, you know, tight joints and everything over 8 years, so it's nice to see that. I'm always curious on how these figures will last 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when I'm retired and I'm an old man. How are these figures gonna feel, or if I'm even gonna own them anymore? I don't know, but you know, I wonder how they're gonna last over time. It's just a curiosity that I have. Now here he is with the most recent event exclusive Goku. This is the Super Saiyan 2 Goku, and he had slight battle damage right here, not as much as this guy over here, of course. But there he is side by side next to another event exclusive that did have metallic gold hair. But as you can see, they even went with a different type of metallic gold hair, which I think I like that yellow a little bit better than this, because this is more gold, bronze-ish color than yellow. So here he is next to the massive but glorious second form Frieza that just released this month as well. This has been a very DBZ SH Figuarts heavy month, and I am loving it. Man, everything's coming out right now. We have this event exclusive. We have this Frieza along with Vegeta and Trunks all coming out at the same time. But look, well, what an amazing Frieza this is. Very, very nice. And speaking of Vegeta, here he is. This is the Android Saga Vegeta, which also has that metallic paint job, which looks good. But you can see the difference in yellow. I would definitely prefer this color scheme over that one right there. But again, it's on a figure that's been released before. It's a repaint of a figure that we've gotten, so I'm totally cool with it. And this doesn't make sense, of course. This is Frieza Saga Goku, while this is Android Saga Vegeta, and Vegeta was not a Super Saiyan at the time that Goku first turned into a Super Saiyan. So that means we are still missing the Frieza Saga Vegeta, which, man, where is that thing? Let's get that thing released already, Tamashii. We're all here for it, so hopefully that comes soon. But yeah, there's Vegeta, just to get Vegeta next to him. Alright, so if you made it this far in the video, I do want to point out that his torso has been elevated the entire video review. I don't know how I did not notice that, but it was, so I'm going to have to push it down. Now that looks a little bit more natural and normal, so if you were looking at him and he looked kind of weird, that's probably why. He was probably standing taller too. But now that looks a lot better, and I don't know how I missed that the entire time I was handling this figure, but there you go. That looks a lot better. And that's going to wrap things up on this review of our Super Saiyan Goku Awakening remake or repaint event exclusive for the Tamashii Nation's 15th Anniversary World Tour event. Battle damage and all. 8-year-old figure coming back onto the market, and it looks glorious. It's great for those who missed out on it, and it's a nice looking figure. Cannot go wrong with another battle damage Goku. And that's it. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Leave a like, subscribe if you have not done so already, and as always, guys, take care, take it easy, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.